Hello everyone, welcome to the shows that name does not make sense, even if you think about it. I am Brandy Mr. Headache, and I used to be an aspiring xenomorph main until the fog took me, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely, amazing, awesome co-host, Levi Gosanon Ymus. Hi.
Hi.
It's been a day, hasn't it?
It has been a day. It's been a week. It's been a month. It's been a handful of years. It's been a time.
Yeah, time is very, like, as a concept in the entities realm, it's just kind of whenever it decides, so we don't know.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, if you're unfamiliar with the format of the show, Levi and I used to be aspiring Dead by Daylight streamers until the entity decided to put us to an end there. Now we are locked in the confines of Greenville's theater, where we must run a dinky late-night talk show to farm the emotions of not only our guests, but also you, the viewing audience at home. We thank you for your precipitation. We thank you for your rate. We thank you for your participation. Plenty of times, iconic Dead by Daylight personalities go awry and just need to get something off their chest. A perk rubbing you the wrong way? Late night by daylight. Recent update got you down, you need to let somebody know? Late night by daylight. Just want to complain for no reason at all? Which is, you know, it's the DBA community, so of course that's going to happen. Well, you know what comes next. Late night by daylight.
By daylight.
You almost had it.
One day.
I kind of tried to follow you there to try and make it work.
I saw, but by the time I realized, it was too late. The damage had been done.
I think what this is showing us is that we're not in our early 20s. We're about to be 30, and we are not as spry with our brains as we used to be.
Yeah. We're delayed. Yep.
Well, are you ready for the show, Levi?
Oh, beyond ready. I'm so excited for this one. We have such a cool guest this week.
We sure do. In terms of recent DBD things, 2v8's been out for a while now. Good old Wave 2. Is that ever going to be okay in terms of queue times, or is it just like doomed forever?
I think it depends. If it stays a thing that just randomly pops up, I don't think it'll ever be fixed. Because it's so unique, at least for the killer side, and I don't think there's anything you can really do for the survivor side to make it as interesting, at least that I can think of, but I'm also not a game designer. But if they maybe bit the bullet and they're like, hey, we're just going to offer this casual mode that's here all the time for your enjoyment, it would really suck for like a year, or half a year, maybe a few months. And we would deal with really bad queue times. But once that like excitement for it completely died off and it was just something you dipped into every now and then when you needed a breath of like fresh air and a break, I think it could probably level out. I might have a chance at it, but that's a pretty big risk as well. And I don't know if the community would be willing to go through a few months of like just chilling out.
Yeah, because like the queue times are the main pain. Like just waiting for 20 minutes for like a 3 to 5 minute experience, like it's just not worth it at all. And like you said, there's just no incentive to, like, literally there is no incentive. Like I literally saw somebody post today at time of recording that there is no incentive on Survivor for their region and their time playing in their MMR. Like there's just, they don't even have an incentive. Like realistically, that incentive should be through the roof to get the survivors on playing that game. But it's like sometimes you don't even get an incentive. So it's like I can rebuild pallets sometimes if I play a specific role, and that's kind of like the only like cool thing that you can't do to some extent on 4v1 as well.
I do think it's cool because right now survivors have like quite a bit of power. Like it's a very survivor-sided mode at the moment, and I think they've done that on purpose to more survivor players.
Oh, don't say something decided. That's going to make people mad.
As trying to be as objectively as possible. There's a lot of benefits, and I think they were trying to appeal to more survivor players to get them in. Like, hey, you can do these cool things. But I think it just goes to show that a lot of players don't care about winning, because it might be like it leads me to believe that might be a more easy. You could win more on Survivor playing 2v8 than regular 1v4, especially solo queue. But that's not enough to get people excited. So maybe people just want good, fun games, and I think that's actually kind of cool to see.
I think what I've noticed too, particularly because I've been playing mostly the Survivor mode on 2v8, because queue times, is that like killers already figured out how to optimize the fun out of 2v8 as well. Like people are coming back to cages because they figured out that they're relatively static. They're tunneling out of cages to quickly offset the momentum mechanic that's giving them more gen speed. So like we're already optimizing the fun mode. So that's not a good forecast for the health of this mode.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think that's just like I've yet to find the game where eventually people don't optimize the fun out of it. Even stuff that's like purposely made to be a fun game, not a competitive game. It just seems like eventually somebody will find a way to do it.
I think it's like one of those things where like you gotta like guardrail that as the creator of the mode to try and make that as least likely of a thing you can do as possible. And if you don't do that, the players will. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
yeah.
you got to beat them to the punch essentially, because if you don't, they'll get there.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a lot of things in the game where like, you know, there's always that critique of like, you should play your own game more because then you would know this stuff, which is kind of just thrown down a lot as like an answer for everything. But this is one of those situations where like, yeah, if you played your game a lot, you would be able to anticipate what the metas are and get out ahead of them. But currently it doesn't seem like there's really a good forecast on the back end of what they think will be good or bad.
Yeah, I've often been a big defender of behavior. I have friends that are game developers. My partner's in school to be a game developer. So like I feel like I try to understand it from that side. But I think the moment that really kind of showed me they might not play it enough or really test the limits like the player base will is when we had the PTB just a little bit ago, where Hyperfocus synced up with why am I blanking the name of the perk? Quick Gambit, I believe.
Well, it's corrective action. It was new corrective action.
Thank you. That's right. And those worked together, and they didn't even realize that would be a combo people would try to run, or it would work together. So I found that a little scary. So yeah, I kind of agree with you there.
Well, that was a pretty awesome, fruitful conversation, but we do have other segments to get to tonight. So, well, you know what comes next? The awesome, lovely segment, Word of the Day with Eric the Crow. So yeah. Let's hand it over to Eric. Hello, everyone, and welcome to everybody's favorite segment, Word of the Day with Eric the Crow. How are you feeling today, Eric? Oh, yeah, I was just waiting for you to see, you know, being you. I'll wait. You good now? Ready to give word of the day? Okay, good. That's what I thought. So, Eric, what is our word of the day today? Yes, another controversial one. Body blocking. And now, what exactly is body blocking, Eric? The survivor action of putting yourself between a teammate and a killer in order to protect them. That's a good one. Once again, you always like to pick the ones that kind of like to upset people. Now, here's a question I've always wanted to ask, because I've heard this a lot through the grapevine. Is body blocking toxic? No? Wow. That's weird, because I feel like I hear that a lot from killer players. Why do you think that is? Wow, I definitely can't repeat that. True. Honestly true, but I definitely can't repeat that. Okay, moving on. So, so Eric, when is actually a good time to body block as survivor? When a teammate is being tunneled or is deathing. Right answer. It's almost like Survivor's a team game and not every man for himself. Well, thank you for your wisdom today, Eric. I appreciate... You know, sometimes I wonder what crow tastes like. Anyways, back to the show. All right, with that out of the way, it's finally time to introduce our guest for this evening. Tonight's guest is one of the best Nemesis mains to ever do it. The #2 Nemesis in the world in total whip downs, actually. The man, the myth, the meme, the Horceror.
Hi.
How you doing tonight?
I have been sending a lot of messages, so I'm kind of tired. I'm not going to lie to you.
Because you're starting a whole new project, aren't you?
I sure am. And you're in it. Did you know that?
I actually didn't know that until I looked at your page of like people you already had killers to interview. And I was like, oh, hey, I'm doing that.
Oh, yes.
All
I'm
right.
just down to like, I need 2 more people I haven't chosen Trapper or Wraith, but I've sent a DM to like every other killer so far.
Nice.
Yeah, just waiting on replies.
Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, if you were in a situation where somebody asked you, who were you in the Dead by Daylight community? Like somebody asked who you are and you had to explain that to them, what would you tell them?
I play the Nemesis. Not to like toot my own horn or anything, but I think I'm the only Nemesis content creator that's there, really, as far as like actually making videos and like here's how you play Nemesis type stuff. Like sure, people play Nemesis, but I like
it's your thing.
Play the Nemesis, you know.
Master
but, like, mine has an underline. I wouldn't say master. I learn stuff from time to time.
You say that when you're literally the number 2 in the world. Yeah, I'm not, I'm just something of a Nemesis player. Nothing else.
I dabble.
I dabble from time to time.
What pronouns would you like to go by today?
He, him is fine.
Excellent. So, if you're unaware of the format of Late Night by Daylight, we like to offer this as a space to vent about anything that's been on your mind in the fog here, whether that be the game, the community, etc. All we ask is if you're going to bring up other content creators in a negative light, obviously keep that anonymous. But other than that, what's on your mind?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. What pisses you off about Dead by Daylight? People going next. Stop it. I want to play the game.
Get some help. Stop it. Get some help.
I don't know, man. It's just like I'll literally have one chase of the game. I don't like leave chase because Eagle or whatever. They loot me for 3 gens and then they give up first hook. It's like, what is the better case scenario for you at that point? Or just like in general, I don't know, man. Is self-promo allowed?
Yes, that was where would we like to find you?
At Horceror on everything. YouTube is at Horceror DBD because I had like another account I was gonna do other stuff on. I'll swap it over eventually, but until then, at Horceror DBD on YouTube, and then Horceror on Twitch and Twitter and everything else.
Yeah, usually we start with that before we get into the vent stuff, but we kind of did it backwards, but you know.
It's okay. We can do it in post.
Editing Brand's not doing that. Editing Brand's going to look at you and be like, yeah, post these, forehead.
What the I mean, I already post my wiener on main every once in a while. Well, you see, then this is where you subtitle it and you say WEANER and it's like a fat seal. A wiener.
Gosh. Holy moly. Anyways.
This isn't a bit. I've actually posted my wiener on main.
Okay.
Same subtitle, by the way.
Oh, freaking brother. Well, we were off rails. Let's get back onto the rails. Nemesis, as a character, extremely popular killer. 7th most played killer in the game, according to Nightlight. Obviously coming from one of the most popular video game RPs of all time, that being Resident Evil.
You said the 7th most popular?
Yep, according to Nightlight.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's not bad numbers.
So what in particular drew you to Nemi, and what loved traits do you have about the character that you think that the player base shares with you?
Wow, what drew me to the Nemesis? I was sick and tired of playing M1 killers and dealing with pallets, and now I don't.
Health.
Not my problem anymore. I mained Plague for a little bit during the Boon meta when she first came out. She being Michaela. Because I was like, man, I'm tired of circle of healing. What if you just don't heal?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, but I didn't like get super into Plague or anything. I just played her for like a week or two. I'm like, wow, I hate pallets more, so I'm going back. Goodbye.
I think when I end up playing an M1 killer on streams, when I'm like forced to by like a build request, I feel such a huge downturn in my ability to affect the game.
Yeah, I physically split my personality into me and John Pigsaw when I'm forced to play the pig.
Yeah, when you play a M2 character so much, and that's the main focus of what you play, and then you go to like a Ghostface or something, it's a completely different game. You feel almost toothless.
No, guys. The pig has ambush. Actually, you see, she just. You have to really think about the loop you're using it at. I don't know. I throw the tentacle. As far as like what people enjoy about Hit Killer the Nemesis, I like being tall. Like in general, it's just really nice when I don't have to like worry about a mind game because I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to give you any strays here, but Xeno, oh my god, I cannot play the Xenomorph. Like being 3 feet tall just does not do it for me.
I was one of those people that like short blight, so I was happy.
Sorry?
I was one of those people that like short blight back when Blight's camera was messed up and it was like in his chest instead of his head. I was like, ooh, this is great. So it didn't really affect me much.
We stand a short king, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't really in that case.
I don't like playing M1s, and then Sadako's also really short, and it's like, okay, this ain't it, man.
So you put out a lot of excellent and very informative. Let me reword that. Sorry. You put out a very excellent and very informative Nemesis guide in tandem with an amazing map series, whipped into shape to help people improve at Nemesis on specific maps as well. Educational content can be often challenging to make. What kind of inspired you to go down that route and take up that challenge yourself?
Well, you see, this thing about content is that you want to fill your niche, right? Mm-hmm. No one's making Nemesis content. There's not a Nemesis. Okay, well, there were Nemesis guides, but it was always like week 1, first impressions, 10-minute video, you know, like here's how to play the Nemesis. There's not like here's my hundreds or I don't know how many hours I have in Nemesis. A lot. Here's my amount of time guide on the Nemesis after maining the Nemesis and getting on the leaderboard for the Nemesis. It's all just like very bare bones stuff. And like I don't think I invented the tech, but the Zom drop, like I kind of coined it, I guess. Like I don't think anyone's gonna call it a horse tech or anything. Like, it's a bit egotistical for me to believe, right? But the Zom drop, you know, it's a little BM, but it's fun. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's free agitation essentially, so
exactly. That's exactly how I worded it.
So for the people at home, which if you've not watched Horceror stuff on Nemesis, you definitely should. What is the Zom drop? Because it's a very cool tag.
When a survivor is about to wiggle off, I assume you use your power, so they'll be contaminated. When a survivor is about to wiggle off your shoulder because you got saboed, or because there's no hook in the area, or they're a boilover abuser up in the main of Irie, speaking from experience, or they're too far away from a scourge hook, whatever. If you have a zombie in the area, you can get them to 99% wiggle, and either they realize what you're doing and you manually drop them, or they don't realize what you're doing and they keep wiggling and then drop them. But the thing is, you have a zombie where they drop and they instantly get hit again, and you just pick them up again and carry on your merry way.
Carry on your wayward son. Go be asleep when you're done. Okay.
I seem to have gone temporarily deaf.
No, it's okay. I'll put the laugh track in there. It will be funny
there
to
we
them.
Go. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really nice to know. I don't think you get value from it every single game. But when you do, it feels good.
It's one of those things, like when it's happened to me the few times it has, I can't even be mad. I kind of laugh and I'm like, okay, fair enough. You made it work.
It has never happened to me, like ever.
I think it's happened twice, maybe 3 times.
I mean, I might have been 2 of those times, so.
Yeah, we do play on the same server. That's true. That's true. It could have been you.
I do think I wanted to kind of highlight something that you had said at the beginning of this, was that a lot of the guides when characters first come out are like really weird, and not to diss anybody who does that, because obviously it's like the meta, right? Like get the content on the new thing out as quick as possible, but then you'll get like really weird advice on characters like, well actually if you intentionally miss with the Nemesis tail whip, it'll actually retract quicker than a normal M1, which means you can go for the M1 safely. And it's just like you get like really weird advice like that, of like people like concocting what could theoretically be good about the character, because like obviously the character has not been out long enough to really establish what is good and what is bad and to find out stuff like the Zom drop. But like people are so eager to get like the day one info out that they almost give bad advice, trying to get the quickest advice. So what is your take on that?
I mean, I was thinking about it. This wasn't going to be like a full series or anything, but I was like thinking about looking at some like earlier Nemesis guides just to like see what they did right and wrong. But then I was like, well, maybe this is kind of going to be shitting on other creators, so I don't really want to do that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, well, actually, you see, with my thousands of hours more than you,
But no, I mean, there's always going to be like early bird gets the worm, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, the second mouse gets the cheese. So do you want to be a bird or a mouse? It really makes you think. Hashtag insightful.
I don't want to be a xenomorph, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's almost, I used to get really upset about it because like I feel like as like somebody who has also written a guide on a character that I made, it's like I feel like a responsibility to like lead people to not have bad habits with the character, and I used to get kind of bent out of shape about it.
Bran, I played the Nemesis.
Yeah.
You know how many Stabifle users there used to be?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like every single time one of my friends plays a Nemesis, they will DM me how they played. And like a lot of the times just like he has not used his power the entire game.
That's so painful.
Oh my god.
It's hard to like have that restraint because, you know, like obviously, like thankfully your guide's really good and has gotten a lot of traction, so it's probably what people are gonna find first and foremost. But it was just it like the my brain goes to a place of like, oh, I want to learn about Nemesis, and they find a different guide that has like bad advice, like use Stabifle, it's really great, and then it's just like they're just lost. Like they go down a bad rabbit hole, you know. And I had to really learn to like let go of like, it's okay. They'll realize eventually that it doesn't work well. They'll come back.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like my place. Like even if I like, because I do Survivor on Friday, that's pretty much my only day. If I play a Nemesis and like, let's say he sucks shit, like just some Timmy two-tone, he plays Nemesis, he gets like one hook, like, you know, whatever. Like I'm not gonna link in my guy because it kind of feels like a dickhead move, you know?
You're so bad, you need help.
I'm so bad to watch my guide. Like I'm not gonna do that. It's just
that's a special kind of end game salt. Damn, I hadn't even considered it. Here's the guide, bud.
like I would mean it from a good place, don't get me wrong, but you know, if like you're playing a killer for the first time and you do really bad and then you happen to like run into the main of that killer, they're like, hey, watch this guy, maybe you'll get good. Yeah, like it's not gonna come across good no matter how you phrase it, you know?
Nope.
Yeah.
I've definitely been playing out there as Survivor and run into Xenomorphs who just like don't even use the tail attack, and I just want to crawl out of my own skin.
What do you mean? Xeno's my favorite M1 killer.
Stop, please. This is verbal torture.
Yeah. Very heartbreaking for sure.
Well,
I run egg.
Stop.
Or watch. Ugh.
I gotta get rid of those pesky turrets, Bran.
Well, at least egg, like egg is not a bad add-on. It's just like it teaches you to potentially lose your power, which is not great. If you could know, like my idea for someone who's like learning the character is like go on Overmorph after you've learned to deal with turrets. That way you just have a little bit of extra insurance. Don't use it as a learning add-on because then like you're gonna reinforce that. Oh, I can just get broken on my power and get my power back real quick. It's like, nope, that's not how the character actually works.
Yeah, well, I wish I had something like that for Nemesis, but we have like
2 add-ons,
maybe 4 add-ons.
Oh, that's generous.
Best. Well, you have Marvin's Blood, you have Liquor Tongue, Star's Badge, and then like and then Serotonin Injector. Star's Badge is my maybe add-on, but Serotonin Injector.
Even
just
that,
like increase
the big stomp.
Increase the time a little bit as a treat.
Well, you recently had some interesting experiences, actually being kind of like, quote unquote, the head of like the Nemesis community. But we will cover that right after this commercial break, so don't go anywhere.
Are you looking to get away from your estranged family members after Halloween this Thanksgiving season? Vacations of Joy is the perfect place for you, with tons of amenities for you to enjoy. There's a wonderful room for your daughter. Your son, on the other hand, may need to find other sleeping arrangements. We have a lot of other spaces as well. A warm, inviting fireplace for you to read a book or play a musical instrument. There's also a dining room big enough to fill with all of the family members that you secretly despise. Along with a kitchen where you can all bicker and argue over who gets to do the dishes. But beware, this Thanksgiving season, the turkeys fight back. Come sign on with Vacations of Joy. We are not legally obligated to protect you or tell you about the visceration you're about to face upon your vacation. Thank you, and have a good day. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So Horceror recently participated in Hen's Showcase, comparing the strength of almost said Xenomorph.
Wrong whip killer.
Xenomorph.
Same difference. They both got whips. Of Nemesis and Wesker, our two Resident Evil characters. With as well as a highly picked character, with Wesker being the number 3 most picked character, and we talked about Nemesis is number 7. What was it like being picked for something as just as special and interesting as Hen's Showcase?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was very chill about it. Very cool. I wasn't fangirling at all, I swear.
Very demure.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, oh my god, he said my name! When I got to announced during it, I was like, oh my god, wow. But yeah, it was pretty neat. I initially thought it was just going to be me and Alran. This was in the first 5 DMs between Hens and I. I was like, oh, okay. So it ended up being 3 players for each one. One was the next to no comp experience, and then comp, and then top players that don't main the killer. So I'm the public Nemesis, I suppose.
A publicist.
Yeah. Boo. Yeah, but it was an honor to be chosen for it, really.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine how excited you were leading up to it.
Oh man, I was so nervous.
Yeah, I remember trying to help you learn and do those little fake scrims. Those were super fun.
Yeah, and then sometimes people just didn't pay attention to the bands, and I got double syringed. I'm like, huh?
That stuff was insane. It was insane.
Do that.
Rough.
My favorite was hey guys, can we not bring a syringe? And it just kept happening. They're heard, but I don't care.
I don't care. No flack them, obviously. It was funny.
It was so funny. What if I do it anyway? Ultimately, you had talked about, there's they brought so many different kinds of players into that environment, and showcases alone are just so vastly different from public games. What surprised you the most about the showcase, and what do you think was the most important thing you learned from it?
My biggest surprise for the showcase,
yes,
is that a team of 4 comp survivors did not run Groaning Storehouse main ever. The entire game.
That is really weird.
I brought a build to counter the main build, and they just never went there.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's every single player in that lobby is good, because I talked about this briefly, self-promo, my little Hen Showcase video. But I talked about the experience, and the main thing gotta know is the difference between a public game and a competitive environment with an actual it felt like a 40,000 hour Swift. I know people say that as a joke, but legitimately, this was one of the hardest games I've ever played.
I feel a lot of killer experience and killer strategy is okay, this guy's really good, I'm gonna go find somebody else, but you can't do that in that environment because everybody's good.
Everybody's good. Yeah, exactly.
5-star players. Yeah, that's true.
It's like if you're getting looped by a pink hair Nia for like a gen and a half, like you can't go find Lil Timmy Two Tap because Lil Timmy Two Tap's not in the lobby.
Nope.
It's just that Nia 4 times. So you kind of have to like just go for it. And not like every comp, well, kind of, because comp in general is usually like broadcasted type of deal. But most tournaments aren't the size of aughts and hens at the same time. So it's just like, again, I talked about this a bit, but it's so nerve-wracking being in front of like 10,000 people.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
Like, say you're in your room, right? You can fit like maybe 20 people tops. Now do that like 500 times, you know? It's like, what the
I think
That's a lot of eyeballs.
I think in a really positive, like, opposite end of that, I think that's why I think it's so funny when like people that don't have like they're still just getting started streaming, and they don't have that traction yet, are like, oh, I only have like 15 people. It's like, there's 15 people in your room. You'd definitely be like, oh wow, hi everyone. Like that's nothing to sneeze at. There's 50 people in your room with you. Like, wow. Hey guys. But I feel like you were doing a really, really good job of going through it. What was the most important thing to you that you think you learned from that experience? Like, what was your big takeaway that you think helped you positively?
Positive? Oh man. Let's think for a minute. I'm gonna take a sip of water while I think.
Hydration, sis? Nemedration?
Hydrasis.
Yeah, hydrangeas, absolutely. Ooh, I don't even know really, because that's like, it's not something you can practice for. It's like, hey, aughts, hens, can I borrow your community to practice being in front of that many people real quick? Thanks. Can I stream out your channel? That'd be awesome, Tress. I don't know. It's like, because I stream. I have a good bit of people. I have a decently large community. I'm average Twitch streamer. Like I've been working at it. I've built the community brick by brick. But like going from my 40-ish people to like 10,000, that's not really like an overnight adjustment you can make. Like time goes on, obviously. Like when you're streaming to like 10 people, then 20, then 30, then 40, like it builds up over time. But like 10,000, like I just turned off my chat. I didn't have it on screen. I wasn't looking at it except between games. I was just. But no, the main thing about that showcase is that I kind of went into it with a damage control mindset type of thing. Because you're familiar with Momo 7th, right?
Yeah.
So I had a tourney hosted by Chloe Dordachian and Gigi's Are Up. This is actually where I met Bran. And to scrim for that tourney, I was just doing pub matches to practice on my map, which was Coal Tower. So I just kept bringing Mac Bones. And I ran into Momo, who was solo queuing at the time. And he asked me while I was bringing the Mac Bone. He came to my chat, said hi, etc. We became mutuals, followed me, whatever. And then he was like, oh, do you want me to get my team together and we can scrim a little bit? I have no fucking idea who this guy is at this point, by the way. I was like, oh yeah, sure, that sounds great.
Oh no.
And like, when I tell you that this game haunts me, because I played like 5 games against their team, right? And Momo 7th, with his entire team, is the only team to ever, 0 hook 4 out me. Like, it was... Oh my god. And, this game is just in the back of my head the entire time, up to the hens turn. I'm like, okay, no matter how bad I do, I am not reliving that. So, I was just like, oh, I'm on the board, yeah. But in a comp environment, my playstyle doesn't really work as much because I take very suboptimal chases because I don't really care about winning. I just want hooks and chases and I'm here to have a good time.
Yeah.
So going back to hook and just instantly tunneling the guy off hook is not really what I enjoy doing. I'm not saying it's not efficient or I'm better than them. Ooh, I'm not.
It's just not fun. It's not entertaining.
I just don't enjoy it because it's like, who cares if I win? So that's like the play style because it's efficient because you need them out of the game because everyone is not a little Timmy Two Tap, you know?
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think that even with like the way that you handled going through all that, I know you made some posts on Twitter about it as well, but I think that, like, the way you handled it was really mature and healthy. And I think a lot of people in your same shoes probably would have been far more like upset and probably mature about it. I wish more DBD players emulated the kind of like grace you took that experience with. So my next question for you would be, what advice would you have to someone who's been having bad games, have a hard loss, and how do you bounce back from something like that in a healthy way, do you think?
Well, I'm gonna be straightforward with you. My initial reaction was not in a healthy way because at the end of that video that I just mentioned, I just had like 15 minutes of just like shitting on myself. Like I was borderline, like almost crying, was not having a good time. I showed it to a friend. They're like, "Wow, this is kind of fucking depressing. Have you tried not doing that?" I'm like, "Oh shit, you're right." So like, and then I replaced it with like what it is now, which was like talking with Alran. But first of all, very solid advice. If you're having a bad time in a video game and you keep playing the video game, that is your own fault.
Yep.
Close it.
Yeah.
Close the game. Because, man, it's like, I played League of Legends, right? If you're on like a 5-game loss streak and you keep queuing and you keep losing and your mental keeps going down and then you keep queuing, it's the self-perpetuating cycle. Like, don't do that.
Well, and I mean,
Like, just close it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, you can just close it, take a little break, you know, like 10 minutes of deep breathing. I don't know. Like, it's different for everybody, obviously. But find something not stressful.
Well, yeah, and we're all eventually going to have bad days. I mean, even if you have a long win streak or you're doing well for a while, eventually there's going to be a day you're just off, you didn't get enough rest, you didn't eat right, whatever it is. So I think that's important for everybody to keep in mind when those days do eventually come.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I loved about the way you handle it. Is like you were just like, oh, well, that was kind of tilting. I'm just gonna take a small break, and then you're back at it, and you're having excellent, awesome streams like you always do. Like it was just like I think it's like something I wish I saw more in the community is people just going, maybe I should stop throwing my head at the wall, you know, and just praying something changed. Like if you're not in the space, you're not in the space, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was talking about earlier with the whole Go Next epidemic thing, and it's like, oh yeah, how often do you play DBD? Oh, this is my only game. I play it every day. What? Like, oh, I genuinely I could not. Like, people that do that are built different. I mean, not the people that go next every game. Like, stop. But they can just do it 7 days a week. Because I used to stream 5 days a week. This was before I like actually made YouTube videos and stuff. I would stream 5 days a week, and then that was my content creation, right? And like I was actively feeling myself starting to get burnt out. So I lowered it to 4. My Monday is like I edit now, and then I just kind of edit whenever else that I feel like it. But Monday is like the day that I edit on. And like, you know, I like the game more. Crazy Conts. I know like this quote gets shit on a lot, but was it Matthew Cote? It was like, you guys should try playing Civ 5.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But he's right though. Like,
no, he is.
I'm sorry, he's maybe not Civ 5 specifically. Like maybe that's not your type of game, but like he's not wrong. Like play something else. It's okay.
Yeah, no, totally.
Like there are thousands of game out there and thousands more that are free. Web fishing is $5, guys. Not sponsored, by the way. But like, oh man, PvP, Dead by Daylight, one like, don't make that be your only game. Come on.
Do you think it being their only game is like the main perpetrator of like why they feel so entrapped, or do you think there's a bigger role at play?
Yeah, have you seen like the Tyler 1 video where it's like I can't stop playing it because I'm addicted?
Yeah,
that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad, but like they're being honest that it's just like a realization of the addiction.
Like, I hate this game, but I'm addicted, so I can't stop playing it. Yeah, exactly. But I'm not trying to get on a soapbox or anything. But if I quit League of Legends, you can too.
This is the soapbox. This is the talk show. Talking on the
Oh,
talk show is
shit.
encouraged. This is the soapbox.
I don't need a soapbox. I'm already tall. You just stand there. It's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Listen.
Rub it in,
We can't all be
okay?
tall. Okay.
Height cells seething.
There's something psychological about me playing crawler mode Xeno and you playing Nemesis.
God, what does that say about me playing Chucky then?
Short. Point emoji.
What do you think? Because I know this was what you opened with, and it was something that you
Did I
were
open
coming
the-
kind of
Did I
passionately.
actually answer that question, or did I just kind of go on my own thing?
You were. This is all. It's all. I'm compounding it into
Okay.
the same thing. Is like
Yeah.
you feel like that's part of that. That I hate this game. I'm addicted to it. Is part of like the Go Next epidemic. It's like nothing is fun to them
Absolutely.
anymore. What are your overall feelings on it, and how would you change it?
Well, I don't want to give away too much there, Bran, because that's a script for one of my videos upcoming. But it is a two-parter idea, right? You
Okay.
get the accessibility patch, and then you start banning people.
Get them.
No,
I
that
don't-
makes perfect sense. I think smart.
I have like 7 pages for the accessibility patch, so don't get me started on that one. I covered everything. So it's like, you don't have an excuse anymore. It's like, oh, no. I can't. No, you can. Go turn it off. It's in the settings. It's in there now.
Right there.
Don't piss me off. I'll ban you. No, but I changed how the disconnect function would work. I removed 4%ing. Don't care.
Don't at me.
Don't at well, you can at me all you want in the comment section of that video. But like I covered everything accessibility related, like every killer's vignette, every killer's sound, every killer action. I added like default cosmetics for survivors, like, someone with chlorophobia, not Dead by Daylight perk, like the actual phobia would be like, oh, there's a default like button, and then clown would look like something else. Like, yeah, I thought of everything.
Like a bean.
okay? Like a bean, yeah. But I went on Twitter, I asked, hey guys, what would you add for accessibility to Dead by Day? And I got like over 100 comments, which I'm also dealing with right now.
Well, I think it's important because I like the way you went about answering that question, because the reason people aren't harder on the DSC penalty is because, phobias.
What about people with... Yeah, exactly.
People that would rather not like a lot of characters in this game are audio based, and there are a lot of people who are hard of hearing that cannot play against them. People that just bad internet. There could be like it could be as simple as something as like, I'm a parent and sometimes I have to DC because my kid's throwing up. So separating those people so those people don't get punished from the serial DCers is like the main challenge with that. So I like that you're like, tackle those people first who are not DCing in bad faith, so we can tackle the people who are DCing in bad faith.
Yeah, and then I have a lot of ideas later on. But I am someone that would like some accessibility settings because I'm not like deaf. You can hear me responding to in real time. But like I can't hear spirit very well because a lot of like I play the game like 40% or something. So I would like the Fortnite thing that they have. Pretty much every idea I have for this is in mobile, by the way. For like auditory arrows, it's like, oh, she's coming. Oh, she's on me. And you can have that for Survivor, have that for Killer, etc. Because like, I have to turn my volume to 100 for Spirit, or I just can't play against her. And it just kind of sucks because it feels like I'm playing the lottery, and if I get a 1 in 38, I just lose. It's like, okay.
I have a funky feeling, and this is just like my tinfoil hat theory, is that like sound in DBD bugs a lot, and they have said that it's been bugged for a long time now, for like months, and they're quote unquote working on fixing it. My crackpot theory is that like they don't want to do that because if the arrows are tracking where the sound is, it's gonna be very easy to tell when the sound breaks. It's like you'll be like, oh, she came from the right and the arrow didn't go over there. Like it's gonna be very obvious to see because like Behavior, this isn't me shitting on them either. Like Behavior has mentioned multiple times on forums, on their Reddit, like yeah, sound breaks a lot. Sound is one of those things that's connected to like everything, so it breaks pretty often. So I think it's gonna be
stretch marks.
a huge easy to see visual that like, yeah, this is in fact not working very frequently.
How much do you know about Heroes of the Storm?
I know it
Not
was the
much.
Blizzard MOBA, and that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, that's enough. So Heroes of the Storm, I bring this up a lot because this is like my idealized patch, right?
Mhm.
Heroes of the Storm had like one of the biggest patches in video game history type deal. That's not like just a DLC. So it ran like shit, right? It's a MOBA. The games were like 20 to 25 minutes, and if you got disconnected through the servers or whatever, it would take you like up to 5 minutes to reconnect.
Jeez.
Because it had to load the whole game, and then it had to load everything that happened when you were gone. And because the game's like 25 minutes long, like game's already over by the time you get back. So like whatever.
Yeah.
And like they introduced this thing called Heroes 2.0, and TLDR, they straightened out the spaghetti. They unlocked the level cap. They added stuff for veteran players. You got more levels. You got free cosmetics. And the reload time went from like 5 minutes to 10 seconds at its slowest.
Wow.
Like pretty much overnight. They added Overwatch because you said this was the Blizzard. Like this was when they added Overwatch to Heroes of the Storm as well. Like humongous patch, right?
Yeah.
So why doesn't Dead by Daylight do that? Just like
People
I
play
mean,
it.
I know why they won't do that.
Yeah.
But like that, just like DBD 2.0. I'm not saying like a second game. Like it's not. It was still the same client. They just like rebuilt it from the ground up, and it didn't run like shit anymore.
That sounds nice.
I love pipe dreams.
Yeah, I think it's something they eventually have to address because as much as they want to ride the wave of like we have cash cows, we have whales that we can just like farm forever, the general population
Young and Sable.
is getting like over time disenfranchised, and eventually you will have to address that. And it's better to get that ball rolling earlier than doing it in a panic when it's too late.
Well, yeah, and behavior kind of has the problem now that Dead by Daylight is the only thing they have. They've tried to and struck out with like almost everything else, so they can't just be like, well, I guess it's finally met its end. Like it's just over. Like as a company, they have to at some point. They're just gonna have to cross that bridge.
Yeah, it's so weird though, because like they announced the shooter, they had like a beta, not even a beta, like an alpha, like a closed alpha,
Yeah,
and then they just like canceled it. It's like, eh?
My conspiracy theory and only hope is they had a board meeting. They're like, hey, things aren't going well. People are mad. Take those resources for that and just set it to like fixing Dead by Daylight. Like work on a patch for a while, just a huge update. You guys work on that. We'll just continue as normal here with the team we've been using and plan to use. But it's just again a pipe dream. But it'd be nice because otherwise I don't see why. It seems really odd they cut off another opportunity for.
And Frank Stone was like okay at best. It was not worth $40. I mean, I played it off someone else's library, so but like it was all right,
It also did not run well on release.
Well, and it wasn't even made by them. That was like by another established publisher. So, yeah, interesting though.
Well, we've loved talking to you, but we do have to cut to a commercial break real quick, and we'll be right back for our finishing thoughts. So yeah, don't go anywhere. Don't touch the remote. Don't switch that channel.
And welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our ad break there. I'm sure it was interesting. Horceror, before we sign off for the night, is there anything you would like to say about the community? Something you're thankful for? Something positive, uplifting for the Dead by Daylight community as a whole?
I'm thankful for my community. Thank you guys for supporting me and all my content. Where can the audience find you again? And we've talked about it briefly, but just one more time, real quick. What are some spaces? If you Google at Horceror, I am the only thing that comes up. So,
I looked you up on Twitch the other day, and there were 2 Horcerors. Kind of weird.
A false Horceror?
A Horceror.
What the fuck? Okay, now I gotta pull this up. Hold on. What do you mean you looked me up when there were 2?
There's like, mine gets real bad too, because I see like a bunch of Mr. Headaches. I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy! No, I'm not seeing it. It's only me.
It's only me. If it's not there, like if I just ignore it, it doesn't exist.
No, I actually didn't find it.
False Horceror didn't last long.
Yeah.
Horceror is crazy.
When we got sniped.
I mean, I got impersonated once, which was kind of crazy, but that account got banned within like an hour of making it.
As they should.
As they should.
Well,
Twitch, kill this guy.
well, it's been lovely, friend. Thank you for allowing us to interview you today. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
Not in particular, no.
Okay. I mean, we did yap for a while, so that's absolutely fair. Well, we are very, very thankful to have you. So we will see you when we see you, friend. Goodbye, everybody. Wave goodbye to Horceror. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Want one of the most delicious pizzas in the entity's realm? Choose Pizzawhat pizza today. Call 444-4444 to place an order with our most loyal employee, Dwight Fairfield. Don't you love your job here at Pizzawhat, Dwight? You are legally required to not. Good. We strive for excellent service. Let's take a look at our state-of-the-art pizza oven downstairs. As you can see, we love to play with fire here at Pizzawhat, but it's to ensure the highest food quality. We also specialized in fast service, delivered by none other than our star employee, Dwight Fairfield. Are you ready, Dwight? All right. Good. And he's off. We don't deliver to them. And here is our customer address. Gulp. Guess the customer can't come to the door right now. Why don't you leave it at the edge of the porch, Dwight? Another satisfied customer. Great job, Dwight. If you want star service just like this, please choose Pizzawhat today. All right, well, it's looking like it's going to end our 4th episode off here, and Levi did the little hand thing over that they do every single time, I've noticed.
Damn, you legit called that out immediately as I did it. Damn.
Who sits here and edits these?
Yeah.
And stares at you all the time.
Crazy. Sometimes you think you're an individual and you're not at all.
I noticed these things. Anyways, before we get too off track, it's about time to check in with the entity to see how we performed in the Today Zone. So let's see how we did with the entity. Hey, there we go. That's a pip.
Hey, pretty good.
That's a pip. That's a pip.
Woo.
We have not gone up a single time we've done this so far. It took us 4 episodes, but we finally got a pip.
Hey, in like a year we'll make it to E. We'll get there.
Do we get anything for that?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe it's like P100 rewards and it's just like bragging rights. I don't know.
I mean, we're stuck here, so any rewards we get, we can't directly like do anything with necessarily.
No.
Well, that's kind of depressing. Anyways, thank you so much for being out here tonight, everybody. Your love and support means a lot. Our lives quite literally depend on it. Yeah. So help us from potentially upsetting the entity and keep this positive trend. There you go. Positive trend going. I don't really want to get thrown to the void.
Yeah, me neither. It's scary. And like I said, blue. And I don't like blue.
You know, that's going to be really funny. Like when people watch back these seasons and they like eventually change the color of the void or just abandon it for Halloween period. They're like, why is this person talking about blue?
Yeah. It'll be an in-joke. It's fine. It's fine.
So this is usually the part where you say something super positive to end us out here. Like, hey, I hope that your taxes, you get a refund this year. I hope that your shoes remain tied. I hope you step on no Legos. So what do you have for us to close off today?
Have fun with the salt. Sometimes the salt can be entertaining, and you know, sometimes the other person's just having a bad day, so just don't take it personally. A lot of times, Dead by Daylight in games are supposed to be an escape, but sometimes they're also a conduit, and we put our frustrations into it. And so I think keeping that in mind makes it so a little bit easier to deal with that salt and realize it's not so personal. It might have more to deal with the other person than you yourself. And that's probably a good thing to keep in mind from time to time.
I thought death was not an escape. I thought that was like a slogan.
We can have multiple slogans. We're allowed to rebrand.
Rebrand. We can say that together, but we can't say the thing that we literally plan to say together at the same time.
No, it's because we have it planned. It won't work unless we don't plan it.
Isn't that Brand's law?
It is Brand's law, exactly. See, it's your own law. Come on, pay attention.
If you plan for it to happen, it will not happen. The moment you don't intend it, it'll happen perfectly.
Exactly.
Well, that's it for us, friends. We appreciate you so much, but we will see you in the next episode of Late Night by Daylight. Good night. Goodbye.
Night, everybody. Bye-bye.